the early days of training, what was that? What did that consist of?
The idea I got was, WCW had the power plant, and Vince was looking to do something along those lines. And I had Bruce and I were home in Texas one time, and Tiger Conway Jr. called me up and said, "Hey, man, you want to go down to Tugboat Taylor's wrestling school and help these guys just kind of work out a little bit?" And I said, "Sure." So Bruce came with me, and we were in the ring, and I showed these guys a couple things. And Bruce had mentioned it to Vince. So Vince called me in the office and said, "I heard you could train people. Would you like to train people here?" Well, sure, man. He said it would mean you spend a lot of time in Stanford. I said, okay, that means I spend a lot of time in Stanford, no problem. Um, so immediately I moved to Stanford and we started working out in the studio. And there was three guys. It was Akam Albrecht, who wrestled with Brockus, Mark Henry, and Dwayne Johnson. So those three guys started out in the studio, and we would train in the gym over at Titan Towers, like at 10 o'clock in the morning, train till noon, eat, then go over to the studio by 1 and start training and go till about 4 or 5. So it wasn't bad. It was a great gig.
When you say train, well, you train from like 1 to 4. Were you taking bumps? Did you work on psychology,
Yes.
promos, everything?
Yes, everything. I was in the ring with these guys. I mean, it was only three of them, and three of them knew nothing, except for obviously Rock knew something. Yeah, I would get in the ring with everybody, and man, by the end of the day, we were dripping sweat, and we'd do promos, we'd tape the matches, watch them back, critique, go over psychology. Yeah, we had the whole thing.
What'd you think of the Rocket first?
Great guy. Uh, he knew how to be funny. He was a smart ass in the way that, a funny smart ass. I'm a smart ass. I think you're a smart ass. We're all smart asses at times. He just knew he was good. He was great, but he was a good guy, really good guy. The way I see him now, when he talks on TV or when I see him meet people, that's exactly how he was when he was training. I don't think he ever forgot where he came from.
Early impressions of Mark Henry?
Um, Yeah, Mark was a big guy who loved the business. You could tell he loved the business. You could tell he was a fan. Uh, he broke his leg in training, hitting the ropes, got his foot caught in the mat. The mat wasn't tied down very good, I guess, and snapped his leg, like, ooh, really bad,
Wow.
really really bad. But he caught on and became a star.
Why do you think it didn't work out for Brackus?
Because Brockus was a bodybuilder who never really watched wrestling. He never understood wrestling. He wasn't a fan. He didn't get it. And I just don't think his heart was in it. And on the road, every time we go on the road, we find a grocery store or somewhere where he could buy the fresh fruit or buy something to, have with him. He had to eat constantly. But he just didn't understand. I don't want to say he didn't understand what the business was. He just didn't understand how the business was. Being on the road all the time takes a lot out of you. It can wear you down. I think it just wore him down, and he really wasn't into it that much.
Got it. Any who else? You trained Kurt Angle?
Yes,
Or your
Kurt.
initial?
Well, Kurt was no. Kurt was a natural, though, in my opinion, because when I first locked up with Kurt, he locked up like a pro, not too
Mhm.
stiff, and not too loose, a pro. And he got it. He understood what it was. I know he went to ECW and he saw some stuff and he didn't really care for it too much. But then again, on the other hand, uh, he 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 understood showbiz. and he understood that this wasn't amateur wrestling. And I told him before we even locked up, I have nothing to prove to you, so don't stretch me. You know? So, and we had that understanding, you know? So, yeah, Kurt caught on pretty good, and I think he enjoyed it.
Anyone come to mind when I say who was the one guy in developmental that you said this guy's going to be a star and just didn't make it?
I think there were a lot of guys that I thought would be stars and didn't make it. I can't think of just one offhand, but there were a lot of guys that I thought if they just applied themselves, they got a great look, but for whatever reason, and sometimes there's many of them that we don't know anything about, but for whatever reason, they just didn't pan out.
What about the opposite? Anybody you said to yourself when you first saw him, you're like, this guy's not going to get it, and they surprised you, and they ended up being a really good pro?
Well, Mark Henry, I thought in the beginning, I didn't know if he was really going to get it, but he did get it, and yeah, Mark surprised me a little bit.
It's amazing how long he was there before they actually pulled the trigger and gave him that spot that he did so well in.
Right. Well, and I think that was just time and getting to know the boys and getting to know all the ins and out of the backstage shenanigans, if you will. You know, so it takes some people a little bit longer to catch on, but Mark finally did.
Got it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your school these days.
Well, we have a school in La Follette, Tennessee now. It's 45 minutes outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane, is the Knox County mayor here, and I run the school 5 days a week in La Follette, Tennessee. We go from 6 to 10, and that's a long time to train too. But we've been doing this now 5 years, and starting January 2024 will be 6 years. So we have a lot of people. We have 4 enrolled now. We do 3 12-week courses and 1 10-week course. So the fall sessions are 10-week course, which is in session right now, and it's been going good. That's all I'm doing these days is that seminars, working for the NWA, and everything's going great. It really is.
If someone wants to book you for an appearance, if someone wants to talk to you about the school, where can they reach you?
They can they can email me at let me try that again. JP Wrestling Academy at gmail.com. And you can go to jpwrestlingacademy.com and find out everything about the school, how to apply, how to train. We also have the book. You can get the book at jpwrestlingacademy.com. And all the information's there. How much we charge, what we train, the days we train. So jpwrestlingacademy.com give you all the information.